Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Oh. All right, I got it. Let's go. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The U.S. Senate currently debating the Save America Act, which Republicans say it's all about voter ID. But that's a lie. It aims to overhaul election laws nationwide because they want to cheat to win. In Illinois, voters have just 2 hours left to cast their ballots in an election that could determine their next United States Senator, as well as other positions. The DOJ is lowering its qualifications. I thought these people were all about DEI, didn't earn it. Now they're lowering the qualifications needed to become a U.S. attorney. Ain't that something? In Texas, a federal judge has ruled to extend the application deadline for the state school voucher program after 4 Muslim parents in 3 private schools sued the state, claiming that Islamic private schools are being excluded participating in the program. I told y'all they were going to do this. We'll talk to one of the lawyers who filed the suit. Folks, also in Virginia, I'm gonna explain to y'all how these white conservatives love to use race to gin up their base. This time they're complaining about a program in the state to drive more business to small businesses. But they want to position as, oh, it's helping those minorities. I'm gonna expose the right-wing lies. Plus, in tonight's Shop Black Star Network Marketplace segment, we'll discuss skincare products made with all natural ingredients that highlight the importance of self-care and nourishment. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the piss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. Yeah, it's Uncle Roro, y'all. Yeah, it's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, this is a live look at the United States Senate floor as they are debating the, Save America Act. And they keep sitting here. Republicans are saying it's voter ID, it's voter ID, it's voter ID, it's voter ID. But it's not. It's a lot more than voter ID. This is California U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. Let's go to the Senate right now.
The SAVE Act is a Trojan horse, actually. It's a voter suppression bill filled with poison pills and designed to change the rules of the election as we're in the middle of primary election season already and the November election on the horizon. And for what? For partisan political gain? The president himself has said that if this bill passes, Republicans, quote, will never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race, end quote. The lead sponsor of this bill in the Senate has stated, quote, Republicans will lose power, likely for a long time, if we don't get the Save America Act passed, end quote. Colleagues, it doesn't get any more obvious than that. And here's how it works. The voter ID rhetoric is actually a bait and switch. The SAVE Act does not allow Americans to use their driver's licenses or other common forms of ID to register to vote. That's right. The SAVE Act does not allow Americans to use their driver's licenses or common IDs to register to vote. The SAVE Act would require a passport in order to vote, something that half of Americans don't have. Not to mention the $165 it costs and a 4 to 6 week wait time to get one. And if you're one of the 148 million Americans who does not have a passport, but you're otherwise eligible to vote, you'll need to, maybe dig through the attic or call your parents to try to find your original birth certificate. That's if you still even have it. According to one survey, there's an estimated 21 million people who lack access to these documents. That's a big chunk.
Now, folks, earlier today, a reporter asked Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson if he could point out any example of voter fraud in previous elections in any state that this bill would fix.
Look, we're not going to litigate all that. I can tell you what I'll tell Democrats. You should listen to the American people. Ostensibly, we're supposed to come here and represent the interests of the American people. This is a 90-10 issue in public opinion polling, and Democrats agree that you should be a citizen and have a photo ID to vote at a tune of about 70%. So there's no argument that you shouldn't do this. If they want free and fair elections, if they don't think fraud should be a problem, then they should vote to enforce federal law. It's already the law, as you know. It's already the law that you have to be a citizen to vote in American elections, and we should enforce that. And having a photo ID, you have to have a photo ID to do everything in American society. Why not to vote? It's ridiculous for them to oppose it. We are cheering along the Senate Republicans and trying to force this through. Hopefully, we can get this to the president's desk for signature. It's a top priority, not just for Republicans in Congress. Again, common sense versus crazy. It's crazy to say that you should not be a citizen or not have ID to vote. And it is common sense, and it comports the American people.
See, I want y'all to understand. They're trying to position this as voter ID, voter ID, voter ID. Democrats are against voter ID. But that's not the only thing in the bill. On Fox News, a Democratic strategist was like, do y'all recall the time when Democrats pushed a bill for a national voter ID paid for by the taxpayers? And Republicans all voted no.
Democrat, and how do you talk about that? How do you campaign about that?
Yeah, I think Democrats have missed the messaging war on this when we talk about voter ID. Democrats passed a bill 5 years ago unanimously saying we want voter ID in the Freedom to Vote Act, and Republicans objected at it at the time, saying we didn't want a federal takeover elections. You're seeing those same Democrats now say we don't want this Republican federal takeover of elections. We passed a bill unanimously, near unanimously, with every Democrat in my home state of South Carolina, including voter ID, extended 2 weeks of early voting. That's the path forward. When you see the president out there saying this is how we're going to win the midterms if we pass this, I don't think that does the rhetoric any help in terms of actually getting that past the goal line, because, again, we all want secure elections. But when the president couches it in, this is how Republicans are going to win if we do this, I don't think he does himself any favors.
See, the problem is even that Democratic strategist got it wrong, because what he didn't say is that in the Democratic bill, they would pay for every voter in America to have an ID. In the Republican bill, they will force you to get a birth certificate. So if you don't have one, you got to pay for a birth certificate. Then they're going to force you to pay for a passport. That's $130. You might spend $150, $200 just trying to get all the paperwork in order for you to vote. I said before, and you just heard Senator Padilla say, I have a Texas driver's license. So what they want me to do is somebody born in Houston, Texas, Riverside Hospital, 3rd Ward, I have to now prove I'm a citizen, and I can't use my Texas driver's license. They're saying, no, I need to now go get my birth certificate and present that with a passport in order to be able to register to vote. But Republicans have messaged this as Democrats are against voter ID. Democrats had a bill before that said, we'll pay for voter ID, a national voter ID for every person. Republicans said, nah, we ain't down with that. But in this very same bill, Donald Trump wants to eliminate voting by mail. And the only excuse you can have is illness or military duty. That's why Republicans like Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina are like, nah, we ain't down with this. And so apparently in their caucus today, Republicans from rural states are blasting that because they say eliminating mail-in balloting could hurt people in rural America. And again, Trump wants to say you can only vote by mail if you have serious illness, disability, military duty, or travel. And they're saying, wait a minute, hold up. That's going to hurt us. Yeah, we've been trying to tell y'all that. And so, y'all, don't fall for the okie doke of them saying, look at this, 80% of Democrats support voter ID, 90% of Republicans. I don't understand. What's the problem if you voted against this? Also, in the bill, they also would allow or force states to turn over their voter rolls to the federal government. It's a trash bill. It saves nothing. And those are the facts. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. Michael Brown, former chair of DNC Finance Committee, both journalists from D.C. Glad to have both of y'all here. Mike, I'll start with you. I think he's right. He was wrong as well. But that strategist, the Democrats, he was absolutely wrong. Democrats have failed on this to properly message. They've fallen for the Republican trap of, you're against voter ID. If I'm a Democrat, I would sit here and go, oh, no. Remember, here's the bill we passed. We all voted for this unanimously, and y'all all said no. And if you want to do a voter ID, fine. Federal government, pay for it, where every eligible voter gets a voter ID in this country. This bill, Michael, is not about voter ID. It literally is about citizenship, and it's trying to force people, and they can't even find They can't find any citizenship issue. I think one of the states found one example of a non-citizen vote registering but never voting. 25 years, that's all you found was one? Yeah, okay, all right.
Well, I think your term okie doke is the perfect phrase to use because this bill is nothing but that. It's all about what's going to happen in November. This guy is trying to do anything he can that keeps the House in Republican hands, and now possibly the Senate, since the Senate is now in play. But the good thing is the filibuster is there in the Senate. The House count is a little, it's interesting. It'll still pass the House. It will.
No, it's already passed the House. It's already passed the House.
Right, I'm sorry. Right, I'm talking about the Senate.
But bottom line is, they have 51, but they need 60. They ain't got 60. Correct. They ain't got 60.
Exactly. And frankly, probably, and if you're talking about Tillis and Murkowski already knows, then they're even further away from it. John Thune is clearly going to do everything possible, but he's a traditionalist or institutionalist. He is not going to change the filibuster rule for this. So obviously they like talking about it and they want to use it as a talking point. The Democrats are against it, but they're going to be Republicans against it too. So the bill probably doesn't, it's really a messaging bill for folks to talk about later during the elections, but it doesn't have a chance to pass.
Again, Mustafa, this is a perfect example of, as far as I'm concerned, how Democrats, they fall for the Republican trap. If I was a House Democrat, I would have sat there and said, allow me to read off the names of all the current Republicans on the other side of the aisle who voted against our bill for a national voter ID. To me, that's what you do. Read the names off. And you say, we had a bill. But y'all all voted no. So here's our national voter ID bill. All of you voted no against our national voter ID bill. I haven't heard Democrats making that argument. And so, and then the other point is, I'll be sitting here going right into their area and going, oh, really? Let's talk about all of your rural places that can't meet your requirements. See, they allow themselves to get outplayed on this by Republicans going, It's voter ID. It's voter ID. 80%, 90%. How dare you be against it? They're not sitting here saying, well, we were for it when y'all was against it, and now y'all for it.
I mean, all that is facts. You know, my mom always says, put it on Front Street. And Front Street means that you make sure that people have the education and that you also have the marketing. And the Democrats do a terrible job at that. You know, just putting the straight facts out there for folks, letting folks know, as you stated, you know, that there was a bill that could have made sure that we address whatever the particular issue is, even though, you know, voter fraud and those types of things is not really a significant issue inside of our country, and make them have to defend that. The other part of it is I come from rural America. I know that there was probably about 35% of folks, you might be lucky to bump up to 40%, who actually have a passport. So once again, you're disenfranchising the folks who come from rural America. Of course, they've done their research and they understand that when it comes to communities of color, especially the Black community and others, that, you know, sometimes we don't travel internationally, so we don't have that as well. And the question also Democrats should be asking is, why is a real ID that everybody was told that you have to get, that driver's license that, you know, they run through all the various databases to make sure before it's given to you, why is that not good enough? So they have plenty of factual ammunition to be able to share to help people to understand that these folks are not serious and that this is, you know, this is politics. So all they're doing is, once again, costing the American people more money to be able to do something that should be a basic right. When we look at Australia, when we look at Canada, when we look at Germany, when we look at Sweden, and I can go down a number of other countries who make it easy for people to vote and not make it more difficult.
Here's a comment. Roland. Here's a comment. Senator Angus King of Maine told NBC. He responded with a flat no when asked if any kind of nationwide photo ID mandate for voting would be acceptable to him. Quote, "We don't have it in Maine. Here's what we have in Maine. We have election day registration, no voter ID, unlimited absentee voting by mail in drop boxes. The old saying in Maine is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it." Michael?
And keep in mind, Senator King is correct, but Kim, we're like that here in the district. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to vote, not more difficult. Keep in mind, the Democratic bill was also a clean voter ID bill. This bill has also those little cultural riders in it because they want to put people on the record, and then the messaging will change after the bill goes down, that Democrats were protecting some of those cultural issues that Republicans like to talk about. So that's the nice thing about being in the majority. You can put the title of whatever it is on a bill. You can put it up for a vote, and then you get people on the record. Just like you mentioned, that Democrats should be saying, that we should be saying, just read the names of the people that already voted against the voter ID bill. So again, it's the okie doke, like you said earlier.
Folks, again, you see, let's go back to the Senate floor. Let's hear some of that. All right, folks, so we're waiting to see who comes up next. And so, listen, you know, Trump has said he's not signing anything, any bill whatsoever until this gets passed, but they ain't got the votes. And Senator Mike Lee of Utah, who's been pushing this, he knows they ain't got the vote. He knows they don't have the vote. But again, they want to make this all about Democrats voting against voter ID. And the bottom line, y'all, it ain't working. It ain't working. And what's so stupid is Trump wants to yell no mail-in voting when he's voted by mail before. That's how stupid this is. But then again, we are talking about an idiot. Quick break. We come back. I'm going to show y'all how Donald Trump is even more of an idiot. So he bombs Iran, then releases the oil embargo against Russia to alleviate gas prices. And now now Russia is helping Iran with drone satellite imaging. How stupid is this man? I'll talk about it next, right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
This is Bill Duke, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
All right, y'all. So let me show you how stupid the occupant of the White House is. We have launched a war against Iran with Israel. We've been bombing Iran. As a result, Iran has cut off the Strait of Hormuz. They've also been attacking fellow Gulf states. So Donald Trump, scared because oil has jumped above $100 a barrel, then decides to do this. Go to my iPad, Anthony. Trump removes sanction on Russia to help oil flow amid Iran conflict. It's really a war, not a conflict. Okay? Subhead, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it was unfortunate that the move could benefit Russia, but maintained that it was only for the short term. Now, European allies are not happy because obviously the sanctions were put in place due to Russia's war against Ukraine. Now, this is what the Wall Street Journal is reporting today. Russia is sharing satellite imagery and drone technology with Iran. Moscow has expanded intelligence sharing and military cooperation to help keep Tehran in the fight against U.S. and Israeli military might. Okay, let me explain that again. So, we bomb Iran with Israel. Oil goes up. Trump, afraid that oil goes up, decides to lift the sanctions against Russian oil in order to keep oil going down, to push oil back down. Russia is helping Iran when it comes to drone technology. So Russia, by helping Iran with satellite imagery and drone technology, is helping Iran drive oil prices up. And as a result of oil going up, Trump releases the sanction so Russia can sell its oil around the world. Do y'all now see how stupid this man is? How dumb this man is? So Russia's like, hell yeah, we gonna help Iran. As long as y'all bombing Iran and help Iran, we get to sell our oil, you idiots. These really are stupid people, Mustafa.
They are, and that's the scary part, because these are the leaders, supposed leaders in our country. You know, I'm almost positive that they had to run a number of scenarios about what could possibly happen. And
no, they didn't.
They all deserve to be
fired. That dumbass, that was a story where he literally said, I just want to do it. We're doing it. And his advisor was like, hey, you know, listen, I just want to do it. That's how dumb they are. So I love it when they go, DEI didn't earn it. No, these idiots didn't earn it. They're stupid.
Well, you've heard me talk before about the caucasity of meritocracy, and what that means is that white folks get a pass on the not needing to be as intelligent sometimes or as skilled as some others are held to. Here's the thing, is that folks are going to wake up to this, because over the next couple of weeks, of course, grocery prices are going to continue to go up. You're also going to have, we already see airline prices are going up. So sometimes when something is happening across the ocean, people sometimes don't pay as much attention, but folks are actually going to feel the pain here in our country by what's currently going on. So that 20% of oil that moves through the Strait of Hormuz has ripple effects, because gas prices are global. They are not local, and folks need to understand that everything is interconnected. The other thing is that Russia continues to play a serious game on the person who's sitting in the White House right now, because their economy was teetering because of so much money that was used with the war that's currently going on there. Now they get an influx of money from, the president literally made that happen. So folks just need to pay attention to the games that are being played and how it has significant impacts both here at home and across the globe.
And here's what's hilarious, Michael. So Trump spends a whole year crapping on our European allies, talking about, I'm going to take Greenland, I'm going to do whatever I want, trashing NATO, and then turns around, hey, we need y'all help against Iran. They're like, nah, bro, we good. Then Trump's like, yo, y'all disloyal because y'all ain't help us as an ally. They're like, wait a minute, you shitted on us, and now you want us to turn around and help you? Hey, Anthony, go to my iPad. And it's right here. Why, New York Times, why won't Europe help Trump in Iran? Let's count the reasons. President Trump says his NATO allies are disloyal for not helping the United States to clear an oil blockade, but they have a long list of incentives to refuse. You not gonna dog me. You not gonna dog me, treat me like trash, talk about my country, talk about we ain't doing this, we ain't doing that, how weak we are. I mean, he on and on and on, just dogging European countries. And then now, we want some help. And now he's like, all right, we don't need y'all help. Why your ass ask? If you ain't need our help, why you ask? This is how arrogant, petulant, narcissistic, and ignorant this fool is.
And on top of it, which makes it even worse, the not understanding the politics in those countries that he's asking for the help, or now saying he doesn't need the help. Their politics, they're in the 80 percentile of no, don't go help the United States. Because when that guy sends out his tweets, makes his negative comments about countries, they hear those things as well. So those political leaders are under immense pressure not to come and assist and help. So why would they? On all the matters you mentioned and articulated a second ago, on top of that, their people are saying, don't you dare help. This is not a NATO issue, certainly not an Article 5 issue with NATO. So they have every right to say, no, we're going to sit this one out. Good luck. Maybe you should have called us in the beginning, which they didn't do, because no one wants to deal with the United States because of our poor diplomacy skills. So this is the result.
This is the New York Times article. Number one, they never wanted this war and don't want a part of it. It says the United States made no effort to form a coalition of the willing. That's called diplomacy, y'all. They made no effort, but you now want them to help. Let's go to number two. It's not NATO's job. Trump says, hey, the NATO alliance says y'all got to help. Nah, dumbass. Did you read the NATO alliance? It says that NATO allies step forward when one of the members are being attacked. It doesn't mean that when they attack another country. Again, the man is stupid, y'all. Let's see. They also don't think it's going to work. So he wants the allies to use their military to open the shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz so oil can get out. They're like, no, that's not how this thing works. It says shipping in the Strait of Hormuz is so precarious because even a single armed Iranian speedboat can take out an oil tanker. The U.S. Navy has not been able to defeat that threat on its own, and some European leaders say this week they don't know how their navies will tip the scales. We have the most powerful Navy in the world. If we can't do it, who else gonna do it? And also, number four, if the European countries step in, it's gonna prolong the war. So you want people who ain't got no vested interest to now step into your battle, and you wonder why they're not? I'm telling you, this man is an idiot. And all these maggots out here who don't understand the Clay Travises of the world, Charles Gasparino, all said, oh, this is great, this is wonderful. He's going to take out Iran, and oil's going to be back down to $40 a barrel. They must be on meth, Mustafa.
Meth, or what was that thing that folks used to say, crack is whack? I mean, I don't know if folks are still doing crack, but some of the actions that they do sure does make it seem that way. Yeah, we've gotten ourselves really into a sorry situation. You find that if you spend any time in that part of the world and you look at the Strait of Hormuz, the shipping channel is only about 2 miles across. I mean, it's 21 miles across, but the shipping channel is about 2 miles. So what that means is that, as you're trying to travel and navigate through there, there's just a small area that you can actually maneuver. And that's why it's one of the reasons why it's easy for folks, whether in boats or through drones or some other types of things, to actually have such a significant impact and to actually be able to slow things down considerably or stop it, which is what we're seeing that's currently going on. The other part of it is, the folks who have been international partners in the past, there's no reason for them to show up now because we haven't shown up with any integrity in plenty of the ways that we have engaged with them, whether you want to talk about tariffs or a number of other types of things. So folks, it's like, this is not our war. You decided to join with folks in this battle that's currently going on. And so folks are just like, our folks don't want it. We don't want it, and there's no benefit for us to enter into this space, and you need to stop it as quickly as possible, but you just can't now. It's very difficult to be able to stop this situation if you really understand what's currently going on and how you've broken international diplomacy. So he's got a mess, but it's a mess that he created.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here, and now we're in our third week, Michael, and now it's kind of like, I don't know what to do. Cause this ain't working. Now, Israel has taken out 2 top Iranians, including the security chief, but guess what? They're going to replace him. And so this whole idea, like this fool literally thought, oh, we could do it to Iran what we did to Venezuela. Nah, that's not going to happen.
And really, the purpose of the war was all about the Epstein tapes. I mean, it's obviously one of the biggest distractions he could figure out to use. And same with Netanyahu. He has his own legal challenges in Israel, has a re-election coming up himself. It benefits both leaders to go into this war relative to clearly the president here is trying to hide a whole lot, has been from the beginning. And this is a great way to try to distract. And now they don't know what to do. Because, again, he thought, obviously, Venezuela was real quick and easy, and it worked out great. But now this is much more complicated. Now the rest of more of the Middle East countries, some of the Gulf nations are now involved getting attacked. I mean, Abu Dhabi UAE never thought they would ever get attacked unless it was from a stray bomb by a mistake. And now they're getting drawn in. It's a mess. They've made it a mess. Because all they have is these kind of yes people around him, no one to say, hey, this isn't really what we should do at this time. They just made up that the threat was imminent. It is not. Even the gentleman, I know you're going to talk about it later today, said there was no imminent threat. So they just don't know what to do because they're all incompetent. So when you add incompetency to political expediency, it's a bad combination.
Absolutely. That's just how dumb these people are. All right, y'all. Got to go to break. We come back. We're going to talk about the battle in Virginia when it comes to the redistricting. Former President Barack Obama drops a video. Also, Congressman Bobby Scott lays out his thoughts on it as well. We'll discuss that next. Also, we'll talk about contracts and how white Republicans are trying to gin up their white base to say, look at Virginia. These Democrats are now trying to create quotas and give contracts to those blacks. It's actually for small businesses. And I'm going to expose their racism right here on Roland Unfiltered. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 people on average, giving $50 each a year. You could give, if you give less to that, we certainly appreciate it. If you give more, appreciate it as well. The goal is to raise about $1 million from our fan base to offset the cost of this show and the 6 total shows we have on the network. Which is about $195,000 a month. And so if you want to support us, do me a favor, contribute via Cash App. Listen, what you get here, you ain't getting nowhere else, folks. Nobody else is doing what we do 7 days a week, 5 days a week live, 7 days a week. Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Check some money order. Sorry, use for credit cards as well. The Stripe QR code. Check some money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome to The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network and hosted by myself, Bria Baker, and my good sis, Jamira Burley. We are just 2 millennial women tackling everything at the intersection of politics, gender, and pop culture.
And we don't just settle for commentary. This is about solution-driven dialogue to get us to the world as it could be and not just as it is.
Watch us on the Black Star Network, so tune in to The Other Side of Change.
What's happening? This is your man, Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching the Black Star Network.
Republicans are voting in big numbers right now in early voting for the April 21st special election that could change the congressional maps in Virginia. If voters say yes, then it will be 10-1 in favor of the Democrats compared to the maps right now. They've been running campaign commercials, and former President Barack Obama, he dropped this one on behalf of the Fair Coalition.
Virginia, we are counting on you. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. But you can stop them by voting yes by April 21st. Help put our elections back on a level playing field and let voters decide, not politicians. This is the responsible thing to do. Help us chart a better path forward, Virginia. Vote yes by April 21st.
Now, Congressman Bobby Scott, he released this video.
Hi, I'm Congressman Bobby Scott. There's a lot of misinformation going on about this upcoming referendum, so let's get to the facts. The fact is that Republicans have been gerrymandering seats all over the country, and it's made a difference. As a matter of fact, in the last election in North Carolina, they redrew the districts, picked up 3 seats, and as a direct result of those 3 seats, they were able to pass that big ugly bill where they cut health care, cut SNAP benefits in order to give tax cuts to the wealthy. All over the country, they've been gerrymandering seats. It's time for Virginia to level the playing field and do exactly what they've been doing. That's why it's important that we don't guess, just vote yes.
So it's been quite interesting, Michael, looking at Republicans going, this is wrong, this is so unfair, this is not right. I can't believe they're doing this. And I'm like, oh, so y'all forgot Texas? Y'all forgot what y'all did? And really what this is all about, this is really about these damn Republicans mad that Democrats said, oh, y'all FAFO? Okay, we'll follow up.
Absolutely. And Gavin Newsom started it. He said, you know what, if Texas is going to do it, we're going to do it. And then the party establishment within the states said, you know what, yeah, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but let's give it a shot, especially since Texas wasn't going to be the only red state that was going to try it. There were going to be some other red states behind them. So, you know, it's just crazy that they started it. Now it's backfiring on them. And there's nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. The courts have said it's okay, which even made it even worse for them. But I disagree with that. I just don't think you should be able to change the rules in the middle of an election cycle. Now, for any of the states, if any of the states had tried it, they should have to wait until not just the census, but if they want to do it earlier, then you wait till after this election cycle. But everyone chose not to do it, and I'm fully in favor of democratically controlled states doing the same thing, and let the chickens come home to roost.
Well, but first of all, it's not everybody. I mean, Indiana said no to doing this here. Kansas said we don't have the votes. And to me, Mustafa, Democrats have always played by a set of rules that no longer exist. It's like they're sitting here going, you're not following the rules. Republicans are like, what rules? And so I've always said Democrats were stupid to allow them to continue to do what they do. So you got to fight fire with fire. This is how you have to respond when these things happen, and they have to fight fire with fire. To me, that's the only way you operate. And so if they're going to participate in political gerrymandering, if they're going to change the maps that benefit, and let me be clear, I need people to understand, and I oppose this, but the Supreme Court said we have no jurisdiction in partisan gerrymandering. We have none, okay? They said partisan gerrymandering is allowed. It's up to the state courts. Well, okay, so if that's going to be the rules, then Democrats should be trying to take advantage of the rules when the other side wants to take advantage as well. They gerrymandered in Texas, in Missouri, in North Carolina. They're looking to gerrymander further in Florida and other states. So you do what you got to do.
You do. I mean, we got to get away from this madness also at some time, but we also have to put a stop to this craziness that's going on right now, where no one wants to follow the rules. And we find ourselves in this moment. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander type thing, as my grandfather used to say. And so we find ourselves in this moment where, you just got to stand up, you got to push back, and you've got to do what's necessary to be able to get us back on track. Folks have heard me talk about it before. I'm really big on fair maps and making sure that we get back to that at some point, because if we don't, then we're just going to continue to spiral out of control. But to stop the spiraling means that in this moment, we have to do what's necessary to address the craziness that's going on in state houses and, of course, on the federal level as well.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy what's going on. Okay, let's stay in Virginia. All right, y'all. So I love to expose right-wing liars. Let me say it again. I love to expose white right-wing liars. So I'm looking at social media, and I come across this video here.
Virginia just passed a bill that prioritizes government contracts based on race and gender. The bill, HB 61, is now sitting on the governor's desk waiting to be signed. So here's what it does. It forces state agencies to hit a 42% quota for SWAM businesses, meaning businesses owned by minorities, women, or certain designated groups. It also sets aside government contracts under $100,000 specifically for those businesses. Translation, if you're a small business owner who doesn't fall into those categories, you're pushed to the back of the line, not because of price or quality or experience, but because of race and gender quotas. That's not equality. That's state-mandated discrimination in government contracting. And it's happening right here in Virginia.
Race and gender, huh? Okay, play it again.
Virginia just passed a bill that prioritizes government contracts based on race and gender. The bill, HB 61, is now sitting on the governor's desk waiting to be signed. So here's what it does. It forces state agencies to hit a 42% quota for SWAM businesses, meaning businesses owned by minorities, women, or certain designated groups. It also sets aside government contracts under $100,000 specifically for those businesses. Translation, if you're a small business owner who doesn't fall into those categories, you're pushed to the back of the line, not because of price or quality or experience, but because of race and gender quotas. That's not equality. That's state-mandated discrimination in government contracting. And it's happening right here in Virginia.
Really? And now what they've been doing, they've been tagging that joke of Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the DOJ on this. So this is the tweet that right-wing outlet Redline News USA posted. Breaking! Virginia residents are outraged as Governor Abigail Spanberger moves to sign legislation reserving nearly 50% of state contracts for minority-owned businesses and barring white men from contracts under 100,000. And when you sit here and look at this here, 84,000 views, look at all these people commenting, oh my God, look at this. And so they're responding, this is dishonest, this is wrong, the woke must be thrown out of office, you can discriminate against white people. And they're just sitting here, white people are the minority of the world population. We make up about 8% of the world population. A Democrat doing racist stuff, no way. Going on and on and on. Total discrimination at its finest. This is disgusting. That can't be legal. Pretty sure this is illegal. I can't wait for AAG Dillon to weigh in on that. Sounds like a lawsuit is in waiting. Here's the only problem. See, you're looking at the slave owner's worst nightmare. That is the descendants of slaves being able to read. See, the reason they didn't want us to read because they knew once we read, they were full of shit. So they're like, okay, so we can keep those Negroes from never reading, then we can win. So you know what I did once I saw this white right-wing rage bait video, I said, I wonder what HB 61 actually says. Anthony, go to my iPad. This right here, y'all, is called HB 61. It is the Small Swam Business Procurement Enhancement Program. Okay? So I'm going to read for you the summary. Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity, Small Swam Business Procurement Enhancement Program established. It establishes the small, let me just push this in. It establishes the Small Swam Business Procurement Enhancement Program with the statewide goal of 42% of certified small swam business. As such term is defined in the bill, utilization and all discretionary spending by executive branch agencies and covered institutions in procurement orders, prime contracts, and subcontracts, as well as a target goal of 50% subcontracting to small swam businesses in instances where the prime contractor is not a small swam business for all new capital outlay construction solicitations that are issued. The bill provides that executive branch agencies and covered institutions are required to increase their small swam business utilization rates by 3% until reaching the 42% target, or, if unable to do so, to implement achievable goals to increase their utilization rates. In addition, the bill provides for a small swam business set-aside for executive branch agency and covered institution purchases of goods, services, and construction requiring that purchases between $10,000 and $200,000 be set aside for award to certified small swam businesses, and a micro business set aside for such purchases, requiring that such purchases be up to $10,000 be set aside for award to micro businesses. Now check this out. This is where they sit here and say, what does this make it made up of? Look at this. It said, as well as, so right here, this paragraph here, the bill creates the Division of Procurement Enhancement within the Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity for purposes of collaborating with the Department of General Services, the Virginia Information Technologies Agency, the Department of Transportation, the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, and covered institutions to further the Commonwealth's efforts to meet the goals established under the Small Swam Business Procurement Enhancement Program. And here, y'all, is the money, as well as implementing initiatives to enhance the development of small businesses, micro businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses in the Commonwealth. Allow me to read that again. To enhance the development of small businesses, micro businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses in the Commonwealth. Finally, the bill requires the Director of the Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity to conduct or contract with an independent entity to conduct a disparity study every 5 years, with the next disparity study due no later than January 1st, 2021. The bill specifies that such study shall evaluate the need for enhancement and remedial measures to address the disparity between the availability and the utilization of women-owned and minority-owned businesses. That's literally the summary of the bill. So that means that where they say small businesses, that includes white men, white women, Black, Latino, Asian American, Native American, disabled veterans, women, everybody. It outlines all of this. So what you have with these white right-wing ideologues, this bill's keeping us out. It says that if you're a white man and the contract is under 100,000, you can't apply. That's a lie. Oh, they're establishing a quota of 42% and 50% for all contracts for minorities. No, the 42% and 50% is for small businesses. And they outlined all of the people who are in the category. Why are they doing that? Why are Democrats in Virginia doing that? Because let me explain to y'all how Republicans normally operate. Republicans believe in big business. So Republicans like to bundle contracts. So when you bundle contracts, you make it harder for a small business to compete for the contract. So let's say there's an advertising contract. And if I had an ad agency, being African American, and I want to apply for it, well, if they unbundle the contracts, that means that I can try to get that contract now, which means I become a prime contractor. Now, I can decide how I'm going to disseminate the contract, and I could disseminate it to other larger agencies, but I got the prime contract. Who did that successfully? Maynard Jackson. When Maynard Jackson became mayor of Atlanta, what he saw was that, and remember, when Maynard Jackson became mayor of Atlanta in 1973, African Americans were getting 0.0012% of all city contracts. Not 1%. Half of 1%, 0.5. No, not 0.5. Not 0.25. Not 0.10. 0.0012%. He said, well, what's the dilemma? Oh, you're a small business and you can never become a prime. Okay, so instead of that being a $100 million project, we're going to break that up into 4 $25 million projects. Now you can compete. Oh, and when you do the rules say, and I covered City Hall, y'all. I covered county government. I saw how bureaucrats wrote the rules to create an opportunity or deny an opportunity for people to be able to bid. So they said, okay, so the rules are you can never bid on a prime contract if you've never been a prime contractor. Well, if the contract is too big for me, I can never bid on a prime, I'm always going to remain a sub. So here you have Virginia saying, let's create an opportunity for small businesses to be able to compete for contracts. Now, Virginia may have its own rules here. Now, first of all, you see right here, they talk about purchases between $10,000 and $200,000 to be set aside. Okay, y'all, that means that anything above $200,001, I mean, is up for grabs. They're saying, hey, let's give a shot to a small business for stuff between $10,000 and $200,000. Let's not have the big companies come in and just suck up all the money and suck up all the dollars. Now, why is that important? On the federal level, do y'all know how the federal level classifies a small business? On the federal level, a small business is 499 employees or less. Remember during COVID? Do you know how a lot of those big restaurant chains went after COVID money. I think Ruth Chris Steakhouse was an example. So Ruth Chris Steakhouse as a whole entity could not qualify for a certain level of COVID dollars because they were too large. So you know what they did? They started applying as individual Ruth Chris Steakhouses. Because as a total, they weren't a small business. But if individual restaurants applied, they met the small business threshold. And so here's Virginia. Here's Virginia Democrats saying, how can we help small businesses grow? What have y'all heard me say on this show? People always say, our small businesses, our black-owned businesses need capital. No, we need contracts. I've said it here, okay? I watch the money. I watch y'all money like a hawk. We have been in the black on this show as a network, as a show on a network, since March of 2020. We own everything that you see. We have no debt. We don't rent nothing. Bottom line is we buy everything. We don't owe nobody because I can't stand debt. So to grow this business, I don't need to go get a $3 million loan. What I need is a $3 million contract. Because if I get a $3 million contract, I'm going to make a profit off of that, and that's how I'm going to be able to grow the business. So Virginia is saying, we want to help our small businesses. These folks don't want to do that. They are purposely using race to gin up their white MAGA base to try to stop this program. That's how these racists use race in 2026 to stop things from happening. And this is why they have to be called out at every turn, Michael.
Absolutely. And they the constituencies you're talking about, count on their supporters not reading what you just read, those two very important paragraphs. Because then if they see service disabled, veterans, oh no, my brother's a veteran, or, it changes the dynamic. So the folks online, I don't know what the gentleman's name is who we were looking at earlier, they just want to give them that red meat to make them think it is about, see, you're getting replaced. They're giving these free contracts to people of color. Oh, maybe a couple women will get it, that's fine. But that's it. It's basically putting white men on the sideline, and that's their sale. And it obviously has worked for a particular presidential candidate twice, and it's going to work. They're trying to make it work on the state level, but more importantly, where the dollars are in contracting. So you articulated it perfectly. It was a perfect business class 101 about how this is the way it should be done, because the majority is soon to be the minority. I guess it's in 2030 or 2031, whatever it is. Anytime the playing field gets level or attempts to get the playing field level on contracting, it's a problem for the white male leadership class. And that's what this fear tactic is all about.
Mustafa.
I mean, Michael, he laid it out along with yourselves. It's about trigger words, right? People know the power of trigger words and how you use them around misinformation and disinformation. It is a part of the history of us in this country. It's gotten our communities burnt down. It's got our communities bombed. It's got our communities, all these different types of things. So folks now utilize it in the 21st century as a way to limit wealth and opportunity. And that's why they exclude certain things and they highlight other things that they know that their base or their viewers will grab hold of. And as was said, and folks then don't read. Unfortunately in our country, the percentage of folks who read, whether it is a book or an article or whatever it might be, continues to get less and less. So that's why it's important for this show and others who are bringing this information forward. That's why it's important for Democrats in Virginia to also make sure that they're bringing the information forward in a way that helps people to understand what this really is and what it is not. And that helps people to make better decisions, because folks don't want you to make a decision. They want you to be angry. They want you to go to the lowest common denominator And that's how a lot of folks operate. So I'm glad we brought this forward. And it's incredibly important because if folks actually read, they would look at the small, tiny percentage. Roland, you and I have had conversations before on the federal contracting side when it comes to Black communities and others. And, you know, whether it's in Virginia or other places, we have a long way to go to have parity. The last thing I'll say is that when you were reading that article, the thing that people should also pay attention to is that it talks about certified businesses. So you have certain things you have to go through, criteria to meet to be certified. So it's not like folks are just throwing money around. Folks are prepared to be able to enter into this space. And that's why folks should be able to have an opportunity to fully compete.
Absolutely. All right, y'all, got to go to a break. We come back. Oh, I can't wait to discuss the next story. Texas changes the law to allow for billions to go to private schools, charter schools, religious schools. So why are they denying Muslims? I'll talk with the attorney who's filed a lawsuit against the program. That's next, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
Hey, I'm Malcolm Lee, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
Oh, hashtag we tried to tell you. When Republicans in Texas passed their so-called lying school choice bill, they said it was going to create opportunities for all Texans to be able to take advantage of the resources of the state. So what did they do? They said, oh, we're going to have these new schools, we're going to have these charter schools and religious schools and private schools, and we're going to have true choice in the state. Really? So what then happened is they open it up. And then all of a sudden, folk begin to go, wait a minute, why are they not including everybody? Well, a federal judge has now extended the application deadline for private school vouchers until March 31st. Why? Because Texas seems to exclude Islamic schools from the program. The extension follows a lawsuit filed earlier this month by 4 Muslim parents and 3 Islamic private schools against state of Texas leaders. That's you, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, you white Christian zealots. They argue that the state is discriminating against their religion by excluding them from the voucher program. U.S. District Judge Alfred Bennett's order prohibits the state from determining which families will receive school voucher funding. The attorneys representing the Islamic schools and families plan to request that the court extend this order beyond March 31st, continuing it until the next hearing in late April, at which they intend to argue for further action. Attorney Mehdi Jakoui is joining me from Houston. Mehdi, glad to have you here. First of all, I call this. I remember when Oklahoma took their case to the United States Supreme Court, arguing for religious charter schools. And I said, oh, y'all want to kill this law? Just have some Muslims apply for the money. And it went to the Supreme Court, and now we're seeing it. So they're lying in Texas when they say religious freedom, when they say open to all. No, What they really want are white Christians applying for the program. They are showing Islamophobia and hatred for Muslims in Texas.
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, what we're asking for is equal treatment. We're asking for equal opportunity, just like everyone else. We're asking for a program that's state-sponsored, state-funded, to treat everybody regardless of race or ethnicity or religion. I would be taking this fight to the state of Texas if it were on behalf of my Christian friends, my Jewish friends, or perhaps my secular friends. They don't want to follow any faith. But to have the government, so blatantly discriminate against Islamic schools on a program like this and claim that it's not, to claim that their petitions or the applications are held up for review and there's further screening, that just couldn't be further from the truth. And I hated to be counsel for the state today because some of the questions that Judge Bennett was asking were very poignant. And unfortunately, the defense did not have a very good answer for any of those questions.
And again, we see what's going on here. So it's not like they're being denied because the curriculum is weak, because there's financial instability, because they have unstable leadership. No, it is abundantly clear what they're doing. The fact that not a single Islamic school in the whole state has been able to access the dollars.
Yeah, we estimated there are about 30 private Islamic schools around the state of Texas. And they are literally, as I stand here talking to you, and I haven't checked in the past hour, but I do check every day, they are 0 for 30. One of their arguments was that the institution that accredits most Islamic schools, and not all of them, it's called Cognia. They alleged in their briefings that initially was an issue with Cognia. So some Cognia schools had to be held back for further review. But then they later disclosed that out of the 700 Cognia accredited schools, 600 were actually approved and added to the list. And of the 100 that were held back, 30 of which were all Islamic schools. And, you had to be there to watch, but Judge Bennett basically says, you can't get those odds throwing dice. If you're literally making the assumption from you, making it easy for a judge to rule that this is really just based on religious discrimination and nothing further. So they couldn't come up with any good, decent reason why these schools were excluded. There was no official review. There was no criminal investigation. There was no anything that would give them any type of fodder in terms of why is it that these schools were being held back, other than what it seems like everybody knows, which is the fact that they're Islamic. And by the way, I want to make a clear distinction. When we talk about an Islamic private school, that's like saying a Lutheran school or Catholic school, or they are teaching a curriculum that is accredited by the state of Texas, meaning all the basic topics and subjects. It just so happened that they're doing it in the context of an Islamic, religious or faith-based education. Just so that for the viewers and the listeners to understand that this is not a case of a school that teaches just memorizing the Quran or only Islam-based studies. This is a K through 12 school accredited by the state of Texas that offers education in the context of an Islamic based faith.
Yeah, it's like when they want to pass a law to say you got to put the 10 Commandments up in every class. Okay, how about we put the Quran up? How about we put the Torah up? See, this is all about, again, this is about white, right-wing, ideological Christianity. This is not about religious freedom. Because whenever they say religious freedom, it's like, oh, the Christians, we're being persecuted. But they want to persecute other folks. You're seeing right now Republicans in Texas are complaining about, look at all these Pakistanis sitting here. This mall is being taken over. Oh, but I'm sorry, but you were raising money from Pakistani American business owners. I mean, so what we are seeing is Islamophobia running rampant in Texas. And what they're saying is, if you are a Muslim in Texas and you're a taxpayer, we'll take your money, but you can't get it back.
Yep. And, this is the backdrop of all of this is the Republican primary that just happened in March 3rd here in Texas. And what's sad about this is that you'd watch these political campaign ads, whether it's Senator Cornyn's or Ken Paxton or Comptroller's office, the candidates campaigning for Comptroller. And it wasn't about reducing the cost of living or fighting inflation or dealing with public safety or anything else that really should matter to their constituents. They literally just were talking about this so-called invasion of Muslims to the state of Texas, Islamification of Texas, fighting Sharia law, which none of them can basically ascertain. What is Sharia law? When you say law, by default, that means a court is going to enforce that law. Show me one court in Texas, whether it's justice of the peace, district court, appellate court, any kind of court that's going to leave behind the codes, what's being codified in the Texas laws, and goes and applies Sharia law. It's stupid to even argue that anything other than Texas state law is being enforced. They cannot enforce Sharia law just as much as they cannot enforce canon law or some type of Jewish law. But unfortunately, that's the choice they made, is to vilify one religion, to stoke up the fear, the hate, and really not talk about what matters to the constituents and the voters, which is cost of living, price of gas, inflation, and other things that matter to everyday American citizens, and particularly Texans.
Well, and what they also are doing, let's just be honest, now they're trying to say, the Council of American Islamic Relations CARE, they're involved in Greg Abbott's life. They're a terrorist organization. They're just trying to throw everything at these schools to deny them access to these voucher dollars.
Yeah, that's how they made the connection initially. So basically, the Governor Abbott, designated CARE as which is a civil rights organization. I have no association with CARE. I've heard of them. They're a civil rights organization that fights for issues involving Muslims around the state and nationwide. And Greg Abbott decided he's going to designate them as a terrorist organization. Now, to the best of my knowledge, that's a designation that is reserved for the U.S. State Department. How did Abbott make that designation, and on what grounds? And I think he was mimicking what Governor DeSantis was doing in Florida, which, by the way, that designation got struck down by a federal judge just about 3 or 4 days ago. So there's a pending lawsuit in Texas by CARE challenging this designation. So what Abbott was able to do is say, look, these schools may have had some type of contact at some point with CARE. And I think there's even a phrase there that says shared facility. That means if you share the facility with an organization like CARE that is being accused of being a terrorist organization by the governor of Texas, then you automatically are under review. Therefore, you're unlikely to qualify for these state funds. And that's just the most absurd, overreaching, type of tactic that he can come up with. But that's what we have to deal with. And that's why I couldn't take it, and I had to file the first lawsuit challenging the state comptroller's exclusion of Islamic schools.
Well, it needed to happen. Questions from my panel. Mustafa, you first.
Okay. Well, thank you for everything you're doing, brother. My question is, at the end of the 2 weeks, what will happen then?
So the judge, this is a temporary restraining order. So we're asking for a temporary injunction that will turn into a permanent injunction. So we have a hearing scheduled that's going to involve testimony and more evidence. We're on a fact-finding mission right now. Discovery has been granted by the judge to conduct some requests for production, perhaps a couple of depositions, and then we'll come back to the court to ask for this restraining order to turn into a temporary injunction.
Michael Brown.
Also, congratulations on your fight. Are you building coalitions of other religious schools that may harm? This particular law may harm them, and you're showing that you have a broad-based group of support amongst other, I guess, quote-unquote, religious schools, or are you still just kind of fighting this on your own?
Well, it's interesting to show me another school of a different faith that's been affected. So far, I have not received any information. My office has not received anyone reaching out claiming that a school of any other faith has been affected. So this has been targeted against Muslims specifically, and I don't know, if that's the idea. Then what were they thinking when they were drafting this legislation? Like they knew about the Muslim private schools. They know they're accredited. There are Muslim parents who are going to apply for these funds. I just don't know what the plan was, because this is so blatantly discriminatory. You don't need a law degree to determine that Muslim schools are being excluded on the basis of their religion. So I'm not aware of any other faith. I will certainly, as I said at the top of this interview or this podcast, I would be more than happy to lead the fight on behalf of any other faith that's being excluded. This is about equal protection. All we want is the same opportunity as our Christian friends, Jewish friends, secular friends to apply and have a school of our choice be part of this system. That's really all we ask for. Whether we even get the funds or not, that's a different story. We just want equal opportunity to apply, and we want that for every single faith or every religion that is represented in the demographics of the state of Texas.
Well, have each of the Republican candidates for Senate been asked the question about whether they support this particular law or not? Are they on the record, or are they both trying to run to the far right, so they're obviously supporting it?
Well, I don't have any information about or to be able to answer your question. What I do know is that there's a Texas congressman. I think his name is Chip Roy.
Chip Roy, hard right congressman who's running for attorney general.
Yeah, he started a coalition in the U.S. Congress, called it the Anti-Sharia Coalition. And I think he got about 50 representatives to join him so far. And again, I would love to have a conversation with these individuals to find out what he means by Sharia law and what he means by, banning Sharia law and what is Sharia law. This is just nothing but, listen to this. Here's what I think. I think bigotry thrives in ignorance. When people don't understand something, they're more vulnerable to be scared of it, especially when you have individuals in leadership positions with a bully pulpit or a bully bullhorn telling them about something to deflect from the real issues that they're having to deal with. And when I saw a political ad of John Cornyn, has been a senator for the state of Texas for the longest, and he's not campaigning on anything else other than the de-Islamification of Texas. I don't even know what that means. If you know what that means, please let me know. Muslims account for less than 1% of Texas, or perhaps 1 to 1.5% of the Texas population. I don't know what that means, but that's what we're dealing with. So I don't know about local leaders, whether they've been asked. I'm monitoring the X account of Greg Abbott and the comptroller to see how they're reacting. But so far, Greg Abbott's X account has been a fantastic resource of evidence for us in this case. So let him keep tweeting.
Yeah, like keep tweeting. Every time you tweet as the governor of Texas, that is public record, and it enters into the court record. Mehdi, we appreciate it. Good luck with this. Listen, I'm a Christian, and I'm not afraid. If you're going to talk about a public program, taxpayer dollars, and you're going to claim that religious schools can apply, you can't sit here and say, oh, only Christian schools. That simply can't happen. But the anti-Muslim hate is real in Texas and in Alabama, other places as well, and that's what this is all about.
Yep, I agree. But thanks for giving me the chance, and hopefully we can come back and update you on some other news about the lawsuits, and hopefully we can get some permanent resolution to this situation.
Absolutely. Be sure to let us know. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
The reason I want to talk about this here, because I remember when that Oklahoma at Oklahoma case we're going. I said, yo, you want to shut this down? I said, go ahead and have some Muslims apply. And that's what they hate. And so these people, they do not believe in religious freedom, Mustafa. It is white Christian hate. You've got that ignorant fool, Tommy Tuberville, constantly attacking folks. You've got individuals who have served in the military. I've seen some tweets, served in the military, saying, I pledge to give my life to this country, and because of my religion, you're against me. When these same white right-wing maggots say nothing about the Christian right-wing terrorists in this country, but they only assign it. And the reality is, we know the biggest issue facing America is white domestic terrorism.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we've talked about that on the show a number of times. It goes back to hate, and there's a quote that talks about hate has never fixed any problem, in our country or in the world, actually. And it's amazing that we still have not evolved into who we say we are as a country. I mean, the founders were very clear about the separation of church and state, and making sure that whoever you pray to shouldn't matter. And then, of course, the other point is, these are people's tax dollars, and whether no matter what faith you are paying taxes, and those dollars should be available to you and come back to your community to continue to help to educate folks. And that's one of the weaknesses that we have right now in our country, is that we don't truly educate folks about the beauty of all religions, about the beauty of all people, and how they've helped to make this country a better place, even though we still got a long way to go. So I'm looking forward to see how this case plays out, and hopefully it can become a precedent around the country for making sure that all religions are being honored, and that all folks have an equal opportunity to get the education that folks deserve.
And all we're seeing, Michael, this right-wing hate all throughout Congress and these state capitals.
Absolutely, and that's the sad part. I mean, not to have rose-colored glasses on, but as we talk about elections matter, leadership matters too, because some crazy zealot went to a particular member of the Texas State House or Texas Senate, or to Governor Abbott's office, and said, "Look, I don't like Muslims, and I don't think they should get any public dollars for their schools. Please put up this bill, and we'll have a big fundraiser for you." And the leader doesn't push back and say, "You know what, I would love your support, but I can't sponsor a bill like that because it's not right, it's not good, it's public dollars, they need to go back to the communities." You say whatever you'd like, but the courage isn't there. Just like, and not just to zero in on what's happening in Texas, in Austin, but right here in Washington, with the Republican Party, have completely just said, you know what, there doesn't need to be a House of Representatives. We'll do whatever the president says. Poor Mike Johnson, and I don't mean poor in a good way, I'm talking poor, because clearly he's with that agenda, as I'm sure some of these Texas local elected officials are. But they never push back. And that's because deep down, white supremacy, or now it's becoming more of a religious supremacy, depending on the religion, obviously, that really matters. That's at the top of their agenda.
Absolutely. All right, folks, got to go to a break. We'll be right back with Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support our work. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to give via Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. That's for credit cards as well. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Again, PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo, RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And again, if you want to do Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. That's all, this QR code right here, also for credit cards. And again, please, checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Back in a moment.
A decade of love, joy, and power. Black Voters Matter is 10 years old, and we are just getting started. This is love with a purpose. This is Black joy in motion. This is unstoppable power. across campuses, neighborhoods, and back roads. Let's go! We show up not just to vote, but to be seen, to be heard, to belong. We ride together, we organize together. We remind each other that our voices matter, because they always have. Black Voters Matter is about more than ballots. It's about housing and healthcare, clean water and living wages, education, reproductive freedom, and dignity. It's about turning pain into action, turning belief into movement, turning community into power. We don't wait to be invited. We bring the energy. We bring the love. We bring the people. Because when Black communities come together, we don't just survive, we thrive. This is how change happens. This is how history moves. We organize, we build, we win.
Hey y'all, welcome to The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network and hosted by myself, Bria Baker, and my good sis, Jamira Burley. We are just two millennial women tackling everything at the intersection of politics, gender, and pop culture.
And we don't just settle for commentary. This is about solution-driven dialogue to get us to the world as it could be and not just as it is.
Watch us on the Black Star Network, so tune in to The Other Side of Change.
Hey, I'm TD Jakes, and you are watching the Black Star Network.
Folks, time for Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble.
The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments next month on the Trump administration's request to end temporary protected status for Haiti and Syria. In a one-page order, the High Court said it would schedule an hour in April to hear arguments about whether some 356,000 people from the two countries should keep their deportation protections under TPS. It also requested both sides submit legal briefs in the coming weeks. So far, the Supreme Court has greenlit an emergency request to allow the Trump administration to end TPS for Venezuela, leaving over 500,000 people from the South American country in turmoil without the deportation protections. But Monday's order delayed making a call on the Trump administration's request to end TPS for Haiti and Syria. It also sets the stage for a consequential decision that will shape the future of hundreds of thousands of immigrants from several different countries living in the United States under protection. Well, the Kennedy Center's board of directors voted to shut down operations for 2 years as President Donald Trump calls for a major overhaul of the D.C.-based performing arts institution. It's the latest move by the Trump administration to put a stamp on the Kennedy Center, drawing stiff criticism from congressional Democrats and performing artists. The center's board, which includes many members handpicked by Trump, voted last year to rename it to the Trump Kennedy Center, leading to a wave of performance cancellations. Trump has cited the need for repairs as a reason for the closure, which will take effect after his summer's July 4th celebrations. The board also voted to install Matt Flocka as CEO and executive director, replacing Trump ally Richard Grenell, who oversaw far-reaching changes at that venue. A 12-year-old black girl died following a fight that broke out when a group of students got off a school bus in an Atlanta suburb. Video of the incident, which occurred on March 5th, captured by the victim, identified as Jada West, engaged in a verbal dispute with another girl after getting off the school bus. The conflict quickly escalated into a physical altercation between the two. And after the fight, Jada walked away but reportedly collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. In the days leading up to her death, the following Sunday, she suffered seizures and a cardiac arrest. Authorities have not filed any charges related to the fight and are currently working with the Douglas County District Attorney's Office. Jada's family is seeking justice for her and is calling for accountability. Jada had reportedly been bullied since transferring to Mason Creek Middle School in Villa Rica. A viral video is raising new questions about how a black shopper was treated at an Aldi grocery store in Ramsey, Minnesota. The incident, captured in a TikTok video posted by Wendy B, shows a tense confrontation inside a grocery store between the shopper and two clerks. In the video, one of the employees appears to question why her receipt showed only 2 items, despite her having a cart full of groceries. But the footage also shows the shopper holding a receipt totaling more than $109. After the video went viral, one of the clerks reached out to the shopper on TikTok and apologized. Well, thousands of meatpacking workers are on strike at a JBS-owned plant in Colorado, marking the first strike in the industry in 4 decades. Approximately 3,800 workers at the company's Greenleaf facility walked off the job on Monday after union leaders stated that JBS failed to meet their demands for higher pay, improved health care, and essential safety equipment. The workers are represented by United Food and Commercial Workers Local 7, which has indicated that the strike is expected to last 2 weeks, but it could be extended if necessary. JBS is one of the nation's largest beef processors. They have about 25,000 workers across 9 facilities nationwide.
Us were stunned last night when we got the news that the longtime co-host of the legendary long-running television show Showtime with the Apollo, Kiki Shepard, had passed away. She was 74 years old. Kiki suffered a massive heart attack in Los Angeles on Monday. Born Chiquita Renee Shepard, she became a beloved fixture to millions of American households during her 15-year tenure on the show. Shared the stage with Steve Harvey from 1987 to 2002. She helped launch the careers of countless aspiring artists at the iconic Harlem Theater. During her time on the show, Shepard was known as the Apollo Queen of Fashion. Beyond the Apollo stage, Shepard continued to work in television, appearing on shows like NYPD Blue, Grey's Anatomy, and Everybody Hates Chris, as well as 1990s staples like A Different World and Baywatch. It was last month at NBA All-Star Game on February 12th when there was a gospel concert there, and the annual NBA All-Star Gospel Concert, a gospel celebration, and go to my iPad. We took this photo. Kiki was praising the Lord. She was having a great time, and Kiki wanted me to play in her golf tournament. She did an annual golf tournament benefiting sickle cell anemia, and Byron Scott, her longtime collaborator on that, was involved in that, and she said, Roland, look, you play golf. I keep seeing you, all these videos and stuff. I want you to play in my golf tournament. And she had asked me before, we traded numbers. We took this photo, and she said, I said, Kiki, let's do it. But she passed away. This is now at that night, Kiki was honored by Tamika Holyfield and her organization for her longtime work in Los Angeles and around the country on behalf of sickle cell. Here was that presentation.
The Game Changer Award, actress and philanthropist, Kiki Shepard. Kiki Shepard, from iconic stage to life-saving advocate, a true game changer. Kiki Shepard, renowned for her electrifying presence on the stage at Showtime at the Apollo, has only captivated audience with her charisma, but also her dedication for over 22 years in an unwavering fight against sickle cell disease, solidifying her status as a true game changer. For a decade, from 1987 to 1997, Kiki Shepard graced the legendary stage of Showtime at the Apollo. As its iconic co-host, her infectious energy, quick wit, and genuine warmth forged by immediate and lasting connection with millions of viewers, making her a beloved figure in entertainment. Working alongside legendary host Steve Harvey, Kiki was more than just a co-host. She was the heart of the show, guiding contestants, engaging the audience, and creating an atmosphere of unforgettable moments. Her presence extended beyond the Apollo, with a notable career in television and entertainment that showcased her versatility and undeniable star power. Kiki's commitment found a powerful ally in NBA legend Byron Scott. Their shared passion for the cause brought them together, amplifying their collective voice and reach. Through joint initiatives and events, they have leveraged their combined platforms to educate the public engagement for high-profile personalities and galvanize support, demonstrating the immense power of unity in the fight against sickle cell disease. Kiki Shepard is undeniably a game changer. She's masterfully used her entertainment platform not merely for fame, but as a megaphone for advocacy. Through her tireless dedication, she has touched and changed countless lives, bringing much-needed attention to a community battling a powerful disease. Her persistence over more than 2 decades, her compassion, her spirit, and her unwavering ability to inspire others defined her leadership in this fight. Her legacy is one of compassion, dedication, and relentlessness. Kiki Shepard's ongoing work continues to embody the spirit of true humanitarianism, leaving an indelible mark on both the entertainment world and the medical community. Kiki Shepard reminds us that true star power lies not only in dazzling the stage, but in illuminating the path for those in need. Her journey is a testament to an extraordinary impact one individual can have on shaping a brighter, healthier future for all. Our 2026 Slam Dunk Game Changer Award recipient, Kiki Shepard.
All right, Los Angeles, All-Star Gospel Celebration. Please put your, matter of fact, you deserve more than you just standing up. Please stand to your feet for the Queen. Stand to your feet for the Queen. For live at Showtime at the Apollo, the Queen herself, Kiki Shepard. Come on, y'all. Oh, y'all can do better than that. I just want you to stand here for a second. We grew up watching all of your icon, legendary hosting. Make some noise for the beautiful Queen, Kiki Shepard. Let's go. Let's give her flowers, y'all. Somebody say, all right. We would like you to just have a few words before we present you your award.
Oh, my. I'm trying not to cry. This is really overwhelming to a great degree because love coming to you changes you and makes you understand and know that you have done something right, that you have done something to improve the life of somebody else. To those who are blessed with so much, you have to give back. And I thank you all so much to be being honored tonight in saying that I have been a game changer. My voice is shaking. I'm not usually like this. I'm usually very effervescent and fast and quick. But maybe it's being in the living room. Maybe it's being here and understanding, knowing the blessings that are washing over me and everybody else. That's making me rather nervous. The first person that bought me to Faithful Central is in the audience too, my good girlfriend, Dawn Lewis. She bought me to Faithful Central first. And Bishop Alba was saying some stuff. And I went back later and said, I didn't know that you were talking to me. He said, Kiki, I didn't even see where you were. Which meant that it was meant for me, even though he didn't know he was delivering it. So thank you all so much. And please go get tested for sickle cell trait. Live with knowledge, understand and know, because it's not gone yet, y'all. And it runs in every ethnicity. It's not just black people, it's all of us. So please go get tested for sickle cell trait and help a sickle cell warrior out whenever you can. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Come on, one more time. The beautiful, live from the Showtime at the Apollo, Kiki Shepard. Now, Queen, before I present you your award, as a gospel comedian, Jay Red, I always wanted to be on Apollo, but I was a kid. Can you please do what you do over my... Make some noise! I think I won! I'm the gospel Steve Harvey. Come on, Jesus. Kiki Shepard, we present this to you. Come on, on, y'all. She is a game changer. Come on. Listen.
Folks, when so Dietrich Haddon performed that night, and I was going through my videos and everything, and this was actually, I can't remember if we took the picture before this, but this was the last video I shot of Kiki that night. Years old. Also, folks, we lost another icon, Judy Pace Hood, a model, actress known for her roles in the 1970s films, TV's Peyton Place, and the groundbreaking telefilm Brian Song. She passed away. Hood's daughters said their mother died peacefully in her sleep Wednesday while visiting family in Marina Del Rey, California. She was born on June 15, 1942 in Los Angeles. Pace trained as a model, became Ebony Fashion Fair's youngest model in 1961. She made her on-screen debut in William Castle's 1963 Cold War spy film, 13 Frightened Girls, launching her career as the first black woman contracted at Columbia Studios. Throughout the 60s, she made TV appearances in episodes of I Spy, Batman, Bewitched, Days of Our Lives, The Flying Nun, The Mod Squad, Tarzan, and Peyton Place. Judy Pace Hood, who led the Hood part, she married baseball player Kurt Flood. She died at the age of 83. I had a chance to meet Judy several times at the NAACP Image Awards, and she absolutely was a wonderful woman. Mustafa and Michael, these two women, certainly iconic. And, you know, one of the reasons we do this is because, again, these are folks who came into our homes, we saw, but they also broke barriers. And that is critically important for us to make sure that we pay tribute to folks who do. Mustafa, you first.
I mean, you know, for me, you know, watching reruns and sometimes, you know, things that were live and seeing these individuals was incredibly important, especially in the places that I grew up, where often I, wasn't surrounded by a lot of our own folks. And when I think about both of them, even though I had the opportunity to see Kiki in New York before on stage, I think about energy, I think about love, and I think about grace. And, that's, what they exuded and played such a critical role, for young Black girls, seeing them and knowing that they could also do similar types of things, for them breaking glass ceilings, for them creating, taking the pathway even further down, so that those who came after them would not have, hopefully, the same sets of barriers and hurdles, is incredibly important. And that's why we also just got to make sure that when folks are here with us, that we give them love, and that we let them know how much we appreciate them. So it was so nice to see the award that Sister Shepard received. But we should just make sure that we're doing that with all of the folks who are elders in our communities, those who are on TV, those who are on radio, and those who just are in the community giving back. And if we do that, then I think we honor everything that they poured into us.
And the reality is, Michael, I was texting Dietrich Haddon earlier that at the end of the day, no one knows any day, hour, minute, or second. And so we should do that regardless of folks' age. I think what often happens is, it trips me out when I see these Presidential Medal of Freedom awards or the Kennedy Center, and they waited for somebody to turn 85, 90, or older. And it's like, yo, man, what you doing? Give folk they love while they are here.
Absolutely. I remember, we all watched the Apollo shows growing up in Kiki Shepard. I remember my mother, she used to say that Vanna White is the Black Kiki Shepard, or the white Kiki Shepard. And because she wanted to put Kiki over Vanna. She didn't want to say, oh, Kiki's the Black Vanna White. My mom looked at it the opposite way, and it was so true. She was full of personality. She got the show moving, whether it's reruns or if we watched it live. And obviously the great tribute you gave her tonight is what it's all about. And we should be very proud. And she's an icon. And I'm sorry to see her go, but obviously God bless and rest in peace.
Absolutely. And as I was going through, I was trying to find. I know Judy Pace and I took a photo at the Image Awards, and I'm trying to locate that photo, and I simply cannot remember it. And it was rough going through my personal archives and just the number of people in just the past 10 years, icons who I met and talked to, who we lost, and so certainly just want to. Send our thoughts and prayers to the families of Judy Pace as well as Kiki Shepard. All right, folks, I got to go to a break. We come back. Our ShopBlackStarNetwork.com marketplace segment. Back in a moment.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League, and I'm watching the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, we're moving into spring, and our skincare is kind of important as we're changing seasons. Then again, it's crazy here in D.C. because it would be 65 degrees yesterday, and it feels like 18 degrees today. Then it's going to be probably 85 tomorrow. It's just crazy. The creators of Skinful focus. They focus on using all natural ingredients and emphasize self-care and nourishment for a healthy complexion. It's also eco-friendly. Dr. Oladejo, co-founder of Skinful, joins us right now. Dr. Ola, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Mr. Roland? How's it going?
Doing great. All right, so let's just take us through Skinful. So we've got here your toner, your beard balm. We've got your body lotion, and then we've got your facial cleanser. So when you say all natural, eco-friendly, break it all down.
So when we created Skinful, by the way, I created Skinful with my wife, and to create the brand itself, it took about 2 years of researching ingredients and components that are safe to the skin, right? So just like you said, right, in the past week, at least in DC, right, we had 4 seasons in a day. So the morning started with the sun, and then it got cloudy, it rained, snow, and then all of a sudden the temperature dropped, right? So with that kind of experience on the skin, it's very difficult. So when we came up with Skinful, we wanted something that was safe and clean, right? In comparison to other brands or what's currently in the market. So that's the idea behind Skinful. So it's a product that I'm comfortable using. And if I do have a baby, I'm comfortable enough to be I can apply this product on the skin of a brand new baby. So it's a safe ingredient and just focused on providing the best skin.
So, okay, so you and your wife got together. All right, so what precipitated this? Was there something particular?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I do live in the city. I live in D.C., and I was just going through the product, and I was like, why do they need so much junk in the skincare product. And it was very difficult just finding the right product to use. And my background as a pharmacist was one of the key moment that led me to know that, you know what, we can actually formulate a product that is safe for skin. And, it doesn't contain any ingredient that's crazy. But, we want something that's efficient for the skin and at the same time still gentle on the skin. So that was the brain and the idea that, that was behind Skinful. So after 2 years of researching ingredients and, reaching out to manufacturers, we eventually came up with a product that I'm proud to put my name on. So there we have Skinful.
So do either one of you have a scientific background? I mean, how did you decide to say a skincare line? Where did that come from?
Okay, so my background is a pharmacist.
Okay.
And I've done some compounding work as it relates to like dermatology in the past. So that was one of the key leading moment for me to be like, we can actually create something that is good enough and effective and doesn't contain the junk and it's just the essentials for the skin.
Cool. And you started when?
So the brand officially kicked off in 2022. We've been doing our research since late 2019. So we had our first debut in 2022. And since then, we've just been partnering with stores, selling our product online and creating presence for the brand itself.
All right. Questions for my panel. Michael Brown, you think you got great skin, but I'll let you go and ask the question first.
Well, my mother did say that, Roland. You were correct.
And Michael, do me a favor. Michael, next time you do my show, don't be having NBC on in the back.
Is that what's on?
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing the MSNBC. You better put on the Black Star Network and when you're on the back of your TV. All right, go ahead.
You're absolutely correct. You're correct. My bad. You are correct. You are correct. My bad.
Well, what's your question?
Absolutely correct. Where do you manufacture your products, sir, and keep up the good work, by the way?
Yes, we actually manufacture our product in New Jersey, in the United States. And I guess in addition to one thing that I wanted to point out, right? So just for example, we know we have lotion and we do have cream, right? So a lotion is water-based and cream is oil-based. But I want to ask you guys a question. When do you think would be ideal to use lotion versus cream? Do you guys know?
Hell, I don't do ash. I'm going to do lotion any time of the damn day.
Okay, so Roland, that's where you're wrong. So the thing is this, you want to use lotion when there's no sun outside. And when we're talking about season-wise, I'm talking about winter and fall, right? When you don't have too much sun outside, that's when you want to use lotion because it's water-based and it's easily absorbed into the skin.
So you said you want to use lotion when there's not a lot of sun outside?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So my point is, if I'm staying my ass inside, I should be using lotion.
I guess so, yes.
There you go.
And the good thing about Skinful is it gives you 24-hour coverage as it relates to making sure your skin is moisturized 24/7.
All right, so if I am, but if you said I'm going outside, I should use the cream. So, like which cream?
When it's sunny outside, you're right. So typically when it's summer, spring, that's when you want to use cream. And the thing is this, people don't know that sort of difference when it comes to skincare. And it's those kind of like minor sort of changes that makes all the difference in terms of like making sure your skin is healthy. Because you have to imagine that the skin is the healthiest organ that we have, but there's just so much product out there that people are throwing on their skin and it's just not working.
Okay.
So our goal at Skinful is just to have something that is basic and essential and at the same time effective.
Okay. All right. Mustafa.
Well, Doctor, congratulations. You know, I think this may be one of the first times that we've had someone come on who has a beard balm product. Could you talk a little bit about the benefits of that and what you've seen from the folks who purchased it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, your beard is it's very, it's very lined up and it's very full. So I think you're doing a good job there already. So, for example, our beard oil and beard balm contain ingredients like coconut oil, carrot seed oil, tree tea oil, and rosemary and lavender, right? So these are just like the basic ingredients that you just need to stimulate the follicle to have um, growth as it relates to like the beard and things of that nature. We don't have any of that extra gunk in there that's not needed, right? So I use that product too myself, and I do have friends and families that have been using my product. It's not so greasy too, because it just contains the essential ingredients, right? And every ingredient that's in our product, right? They've been vetted to make sure these are things that are simple and almost organic and natural in form too. We don't rely so much on like the chemicals that's not needed, right? So when we are looking at this product, right, especially for beard care, because in our product line, those are the only two products that we have for men, really. We have the beard balm and the beard oil. So we want to make sure that the ingredients that we're using in those are effective and to actually stimulate hair growth. And at the same time, making sure that the beard is also moisturized. And one thing that I've also discovered that I never think about is like some of our repeat customers told me that they actually use the beard balm and the oil on their head too. And it actually works for hair growth.
All right, then. So, folks, if you go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, you can check out Skinful. You got the facial cleanser. We've got the body lotion. Use it indoors. Don't use it outdoors. We've got the beard balm. And then we've got the toner as well. Second question, what the hell is a toner for?
Okay, so a toner is to prep your skin, right? And the reason we actually created our toner is like typically when you use a toner, right, it strips your skin of the essential oil that's needed, right?
Okay, hold on, Doc. You said to prep your skin. So when am I using the toner?
So after you've taken a shower,
got it,
and you've done your facial wash. And you've taken your shower.
Okay, so hold on. All right, hold on. So we're gonna take a shower, and we're gonna use a facial cleanser.
Yes, you use your facial cleanser.
Your ass gonna be ashy getting out of the shower, so you need to use some body lotion. No, wrong shot. Give me the other shot. Wrong shot. Using the body lotion, and so I'm using the toner, but I'm using the toner where on my face.
Yes, on your face, just on the face.
Okay, got it. And then if I got a beard. I use the beard balm.
Absolutely.
The
beard oil?
Does it matter if it like is that for a thick beard? Because I can't stand a thick beard, so mine got to be like this here. I know. Mustafa's got a little thicker beard. Michael can't grow no facial hair. So that's.
I mean, you could try with Skinful. You might get a different result, Mustafa. You never know.
Okay. All right. Go. All right. Just checking. All right then. So okay. Yes. So folks, if y'all want to try Skinful, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Shopblackstarnetwork.com and walk over here. Go to our website. You can try the products out. They're all on there. You got a total of how many products? I see 6. I got 4 right here, but you got a total of 7 on the website?
Yeah, we actually have a total of 7 on the website, but if you do go to our actual website, we do have some other products in the line too. We have some shampoo, we have conditioner.
Well, you got it. Well, look, if you're going to do those, you got to get those on shopblackstarnetwork.com because they got to go there.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
If y'all want to try Skinful, so I'm going to do this here, y'all. I'm coming over here. And so, I'm going to have to get like another table because, y'all, we running out of room. Because all of these are the products available to y'all on shopblackstarnetwork.com. I'm going to do this right here. So I'm going to move this over right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put these right here. And so y'all go to shopblackstarnetwork.com to check out the Skinful products. And you can see it all right there. Dr. Ola, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right. Again, y'all. So be sure to go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. First of all, Mustafa and Michael, let me thank y'all for being on today's show. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Folks, Also, before we go, shout out to King McNeil, the website. They are graduates of Oakwood University. Remember I told y'all that I had no Oakwood gear? I spoke there years ago in their chapel. Now, the reason I also remember, it was a great speech, but also they don't have meat on their campus. They are vegetarian only. Man, I was looking for some ribs. But I didn't get any Oakwood gear. And so the cats at King McNeil, I saw them at NBA All-Star Game. I'd ordered a sweater from them, and they dropped this zip up in the mail as well. So I appreciate it. And there was another brother I met who at All-Star Game, who went to Oakwood graduate. He said he was going to send me some stuff. So Oakwood, I appreciate it. So y'all know, any school that I only wear HBCU gear of schools that I have been to, I've spoken at, done the show from, and so that's the rule I have. So if y'all ain't seen me in your HBCU gear, they either didn't send me anything or they ain't invited me. So that's how we do this whole thing. All right. I want y'all to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Support our show. We're doing some amazing things, y'all. We got 6 total shows. This show, Brittany Noble's Daily News Show, The Breakdown of Brittany Noble. We've got Balanced Living with Jackie Martin. We got Greg Carr's The Black Table. We got The Other Side of Change. We got Roland's Book Club. We got Second Opinion with Dr. Ebony Hilton. We're still working on our weekly business show, y'all. So there's a lot going on. So we want y'all to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Again, if y'all sitting there riding dirty, y'all watching this show on Facebook, on YouTube, and you haven't contributed, please, you got to do that, because we ain't got millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks every single year, every single month. Your support is valuable for us to continue to grow this show, provide you black-centered content. And so if you want to use Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Credit cards as well with that QR code. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003-7-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle. Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Samsung Smart TV. You want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag? Do me a favor, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Folks, the merchandise is there. We got all these shirts. Don't blame me. Voted for the black woman. MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. How you die does not redeem how you live. Also, black-owned media matters. So we got all that stuff right there on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Plus, all of the products that you see right here available on shopblackstarnetwork.com. We created this marketplace, y'all. These are all black-owned companies. We talk about supporting our own. Well, we actually have to do it. So when you buy these products from shopblackstarnetwork.com, you also are supporting this black-owned show as well. And so you name it, we got it. Peruse the site. They got a bunch of different stuff that you know that you use every single day, whether it's skincare, whether it's for your beard. We got different companies. We got watches, we got books, we got dolls. Man, we got handbags. We got all kinds of stuff. Chips. We got pecans. I mean, you name it, car solution. So go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Check it all out. Also, download the app Fanbase. Follow me at Roland S. Martin on Fanbase. Let's grow that black-owned social media app. It's not just for black folks. It's black-owned. Support them as well. So, again, Fanbase. And, of course, watch Brittany Noble, the breakdown of Brittany Noble, every day at noon Eastern right here on the Black Star Network as well. I don't think I left anything out. That's it. I got to go. I'll see you tomorrow right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered, Black Star Network.